The announcement season has well and truly begun, and we've got the most exciting ones right here. Hello, I'm Matthew and welcome to the Watch It Played News. The news this week is back-to-back announcements, starting with blueprints of Mad King Ludwig, which I legitimately saw and immediately called Paula about, saying, guess which game you love is getting turned into a thing you love. We are asked in this 1 to 5 player game to test our architectural skills in this standalone flip and sketch re-implementation of the fantastic castles of Mad King Ludwig, where now we will be attempting to draw the most extravagant blueprints for the king's next wacky castle. In the game, it seems that we will be selecting cards to add to our floor plan, attempting to connect rooms to gain points, of course, but also bonuses like bonus cards and extra turns, all while we try to curry favour with the king via achieving public goals and creating tricky courtyards within our plans. Blueprints of Mad King Ludwig will be coming to Kickstarter, though the date hasn't been announced just yet. But available right now is the game that of course helped make this episode possible, Kites from Floodgate Games. Lift your next gaming gathering to new heights with one of the hottest new games of 2022, Kites, a game for 2 to 6 players that you can teach in 60 seconds. Kites is a fully cooperative, fast and energetic game that keeps everyone engaged until the final grain of sand falls. And communication and teamwork is what it takes to make sure none of the sand timers run out. Because if one does, a kite comes crashing down and it's time to play again. Win together by coordinating to play all the cards and make your kite flying a soaring success. Bring home your family's next favourite game with Kites. Follow the link in this video's description to find it at floodgate.games, Amazon, barnesandnoble.com and, of course, your local game store. The next news item also legitimately forced me to call Paula, which is something I try not to do, and that's Tales of Arthurian Knights by WizKids, which is the re-implementation of the classic Tales of Arabian Nights from Z-Man Games, meaning that the title is a pun, which I personally respect. The original Tales of Arabian Nights had you exploring the world as told by Scheherazade in her 1001 stories, often with things going very wrong for you as you traverse the world. And in Tales of Arthurian Nights 1 to 4, travellers are at the behest of King Arthur, who asks you to set off to prevail through a series of quests. And in those quests are impactful choices that will steer the course of your journey. This all takes place, as you can imagine, in the age of chivalry, alongside Lancelot, Merlin and a cast of other characters from Arthurian lore involving glorious battles, daring rescues, all searching for the relics like the Holy Grail. The game is being described as a paragraph-driven experience with a huge amount of narrative driving your choices, and mechanically, things such as the victory point system have been updated from the original Tales of Arabian Nights, though I imagine comeuppance will still be a strong plot point as you adventure and explore. The A.R.T project from Lumberjack Studios was the next game that caught my eye, a 1 to 6 player cooperative art recovery game where you lead the art rescue team with the aim of fighting against the world organisation responsible for the thefts of priceless works across the planet called the White Hand. Your team of specialists will work together, travelling the world to gather clues in time to stop these cultural crimes, and you'll do this by drawing mission cards, then discussing your plan of action, where you go and how you use your shared resources, often with the aim of gaining clues with the goal of saving 7 works of art before time runs out. And this counter-espionage art heist will be out later this year. New Eden from Schmidt-Spiel got me excited, mainly because it's a big box Schmidt game by Benjamin Schwer, the designer of 2 games I really love, Hadara and The Crown of Amara. It's the year 2442 and Earth, where we live, is facing complete destruction. The sea level is irrevocably rising and the vast depths of the ocean now lie above the former land areas. So that's nice, but a deep sea city, New Eden, is being built with the main dome standing on a white smoker, a spring at the bottom of the sea from which hot water flows. The station is constantly being expanded and enlarged, but many of these well-intentioned actions can damage New Eden, and we are told that only those who keep an eye on the balance between progress and destruction can collect points in the final scoring. I like the sound of this. Tricky, risk-taking moves and building things from the black market vendors that will hopefully end up being slightly better for me than they do damage the city. So I'm eager to give this one a try when it's out. Next, also from Schmidt and Benjamin Schwer, is the 2 to 6 player trick-taking game Chaos in Gotham City, where each player becomes a classic Bat villain and attempts to cause mayhem while avoiding encounters with Batman. Look, the way I see it is that if Marvel Snap can get me to finally play a game with Spider-Man in it, then the trick-taking card game might get me to play a DC game. The deck contains 40 cards in 4 suits numbered 1 to 10, with some cards depicting either Batman or Bruce Wayne, and at the start of each trick, one of the 15 location cards is revealed that will be claimed by the winner of that trick, and you'll want to collect Chaos points as you play, but the player who has the most Batman points at the end of the game scores nothing, which is one of my favourite things in games. So it's this mix of wanting to win and very much not wanting to win, forcing other players to take Batman points, and on top of everything, all players get one of 8 villain cards, each with a special power on it to add extra chaos into each round. Steam Forge Games have announced a brand new 2-player card game in the Gears of War world called, unsurprisingly, Gears of War the card game. In this story-driven campaign-style game, we are promised that the decisions we make in each narrative scenario have serious consequences on the battlefield and in the scenarios that follow. And we are told that striking at the right moment and making our cards work together, fight together, stand together, and if necessary, die together, well, that's going to be key. You'll be able to develop your forces as you play through the unique narrative scenarios, each with their own objectives, terrain layout, and each with their own win or lose condition, which will affect the contents of your deck in the next scenario, allowing success or failure to impact your experience of the game. Now, the description of this game makes it sound like it could also be a co-op game. Maybe. The announcement does not specify that, but it looks cool to me, so I want to know more about its release, which is scheduled for later this year. In a segment that would be called world-shattering breaking news, if this was a video specifically made for me personally, there's a new game in the GIPF series, and I don't know what it feels like to have your heart skip a beat, but when I saw the box cover for MATRX pop up on my computer screen, I think I began to breathe heavier than normal. I love the GIPF series of beautiful and incredible abstract board games. I really, really do. And we were told that 2017's Link would be the last one, but now there's MATRX. So to explain this succinctly, MATRX is a standalone game in the series, but it's also a re-release of the very hard to find expansions of the original game in the series, GIPF, which added different potential ways to play many of the other games in the series. All told, MATRX looks like it's the GIPF game for people who love the series already, so I'm very excited about it. The 1 to 4 player Kramer and Kiesling game Terra Pyramides has been announced by Korean board games company, which turns out isn't about a haunted pyramid. Instead, players compete to acquire building sites in order to build pyramids in a variety of sizes, but to do so, this requires money, resources and workers, and to get them each turn, players have exactly 1 tile in hand that they have to place somewhere on the board. Then all the tiles on the board in an uninterrupted straight or diagonal line from the one just placed are activated. Workers and resources are needed to build pyramids, of course, but workers need to walk to pyramid building sites in uninterrupted lines, and when a player has enough resources and there are 3 of their workers on a building site, they may build another level of the pyramid which gives them points. The box includes 2 expansions that add on to the base family weight game to increase the strategies and complexity, and all of that sounds very good to me. And a sequel to the massive hit 2020 game Search for Planet X has been announced by Renegade Games, and it's heading to Kickstarter on January 31st. In the search for lost species, thousands of plants and animals have been discovered but haven't been seen for decades and could be on the brink of extinction. And in order to save these species, we've been tasked with finding them again. The Search for Lost Species is a game about this very real-world search, and 1 to 4 players are scientists on an expedition to find one of those lost species using logic and deduction, and is all based around several lost species in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. There's going to be a double-sided board with different maps to explore and 6 lost species to find, as well as an app to use that helps you determine if you have indeed found what you're looking for. But if you're looking for more watch it played fun, then click here to see what games have made it onto our own personal radars. In this video called, unsurprisingly, On the Radar, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.